hurt? You want to be sick? Do you want to be working your butt off to make ends meet? Either way, man, it's going to be hard. But the things that you put in and the people you meet, the people you hang out with, those are part of the promises. And if you keep doing the right things, at least in my experience, and you have that good outlook on life, people are going to realize that, and they're going to want you around. They're going to want you to be a part of what's going on. And that part of the community, that sense of being a part of the community, it will give you joy. And even though you might not like everybody that's coming your way, you can at least accept the fact that, hey, people want to be around me, and I do have things to offer, because you do. Every one of us, we have something to offer. We were just listening to Dale Carnegie, which I love him. Well, not really him, but his book.
His message, yeah.
Yeah. And he said that everybody you meet, there's better at something than you. And that's true. I know something that you're better, Marnie, than me at. And
sexual relationships.
Marnie, no. Well, maybe, but no. Chris is an awesome guy. He's very funny, and Chris is better at a lot of things than me. Ryan, he's better at lifting weights. That's about it. Just kidding, Ryan. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah, I'm the dirty man tonight.
Yeah, you are.
He's better at being dirty than me. No, but, just accept that fact, and you can still learn from people. And that doesn't mean that people can't learn from you, but just know that you do have something in you that can help people and go a long way.
You need for me to say something?
Yeah, I feel like I'm hogging the mic over here.
No, it's fine. No, I mean, I was going to jump in a couple times because you had a lot of good things to say there. But let's see. Talking about opportunities presenting themselves. I mean, there's lots of times we don't know what order things are going to come into our lives and for what reasons. And but I know that being sober, that a lot of those things presented themselves, sometimes disguised, maybe even, and so that goes back to what you're saying, like that change is not always easy. One quote, I don't remember the name of the person who said it, but it's, I think it's growth is hard, change is hard, but nothing's harder than staying somewhere you don't belong. And for me, I mean, that can mean a lot of different things. I first off translate that to basically living a life of addiction. It's difficult to change and to grow. They're not, and you know what? Everybody says change is good, growth is good, and this is true, but it's not easy. But it's harder to, deal with something and live with something that is A, making you miserable, and B, way much more work than it is than, to be something better, to strive for something better, to work for something better. And it's almost as hard as it is, it doesn't seem hard because there's those rewards, because you start seeing positivity, you start seeing growth in yourself and every day things become easier and easier. And so, like, for example, looking for an apartment or finding a job or filling, you know what I mean? There's all these things that come with it where it's like, oh my God, it seems so hard, I got to do all this stuff. And, the end result is out there, right? I need to get a job. I need to find an apartment. Or things that you're striving for. But there's a lot of work that goes into that you just kind of don't want to do it. And, but you have to. And, so yeah, you got to put the work in, to end up with things that you need. And you know what, you're going to find road bumps. but you can't let those things discourage you. And that's one thing I think has changed that I know has changed about me today, is that I don't let things like that discourage me. I would have thrown in the towel and let any tiny little thing that got in the way, like, well, see, I tried, it didn't work, and I guess that wasn't, meant to be, or whatever. And some things, yeah, you have to accept that, things didn't work out however you wanted them to, but other things, it's like, you don't just give up. If things don't work out exactly how you wanted on the first try, well, then you try again. And, nobody succeeds at something that is big the first time, it's like training for something. Marathon runners didn't become marathon runners because they took off their toddler shoes and, so it's like, I don't know, just things like that it's like there's whatever, try again, I guess. Whatever the beginning to that is, I can't remember, but it's and going back to chapters of your life, is that we all are, changing our chapters, are changing our journey every day, and I thought it was adorable when, first off, just seeing the camaraderie that you had made, and the, brotherhood or whatever at your sober living house. There's a lot of love there and respect, and yeah, it was a sad moment, but inside, I think that the guys are proud of you, and it's not like you're leaving on a bad note, by any means. You really care about those guys there a lot, and I think it's it goes both ways, that it's sad to see you go, because you guys liked each other, loved having each other as, what do you call it? Roommates, essentially, housemates. Mm-hmm. But and they're going to be move on to where they're next too. Their next place too. So it's all exciting, and to celebrate that, I think, is neat. So, but yeah, lots of cool things happening, lots of changes happening, and yeah, they're not all easy.
No, but. and change doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be hard, but sometimes it's just really uncomfortable. And for the guys in the house, at least
in Detroit, you have a bus stop.
Yeah, there's a bus stop. There's not, but people like Tyrone and Chris and Ryan and some of the other guys like Dustin, and they're gonna be okay. It's not gonna be the same, and I couldn't have been there forever. It's not my dream in life to manage a sober living house for the rest of my life. Not that it's a bad thing, and I learned a lot from doing that. But there comes a time where you do have to step away from that too, which is uncomfortable, because that's what I'm used to. That's what I've known. Like when I would get home, let's go to a meeting, let's do this, and now it's like, okay, well, now I'm not doing that. I'm still very active in recovery and in the recovery community. It's just going to be at a different level, a different intensity. There's still a different side of my life, like relationships and, making babies and, stuff that I want to do for my life that I can now do because I am sober and because I did put in the time, which a year pretty much maybe a little over a year with the 2-month stay in rehab, but sometimes it takes a year, and it was the best year of my life, really, because it was getting to know myself and to set those boundaries and to set that healthy routine. And Chris will tell you the same thing, and Tyrone will. And a lot of people laugh at Tyrone, but when he goes to meetings, sometimes he gets a little sleepy, and he's been known to snore a few times in meetings, which we just find hilarious, and that might make other people mad, but whatever. Can't really control what makes other people mad, but Chris will even tell you that he misses going to meetings, and when he first came into the house, it was like, I gotta go to meetings, I gotta do this. I remember one time he was upset because he had walked to the store, or no, he had walked to a meeting, but he didn't realize the meeting wasn't at noon, it was at 1, so he was there an hour early, so he decided to walk back home, and he was going to go back at another meeting at like 4 or 5. Well, he went to that one, and it was a woman's meeting, so he couldn't get his 5 meetings in. He was mad, and I remember I took him to work the next day, and he's like, man, I'm trying, doing this and that, and I was like, well, maybe you should work on that. Maybe you should try a little harder. And he was so pissed off and couldn't believe I told him that. But, he probably laughs about it now. But yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, now he's stir crazy and like, man, I need to go to a meeting. And Chris had some stuff happen not too long ago. And sorry, Chris, I keep talking about you. But his first reaction was, I need to go hit a meeting. I guess he needed to work on some step work. That's coming, Chris. But yeah, he was so mad. He wasn't thinking about using. He wasn't thinking about what bad stuff he could do. He was thinking about the positive. Okay, well, how can I need to talk about it. I need to get it out. I need to go to a meeting. And, when he first came to the house, if you'd have told him, he would have been like, I need to go hit a meeting. I need to go hit a meeting. He would have looked at you and laughed. He would have said, man, it's not going to be me. But, setting those routines and those healthy things and getting your life in order, and, the rest just kind of falls into place. And even Chris admitted that today with, his job kind of closing down a little early because they saw some stuff coming. And, well, now he can actually not have to stress because he did the right things. He got a job. He worked that job, and it wasn't his dream job, but he did it. And now he doesn't have to stress. He's going to have unemployment coming. It's the first time he's ever been on unemployment. Chris is not a lazy guy, and that doesn't mean if you're on unemployment, it doesn't mean you're lazy. There's so many people out there that are just, good luck unemployment. They don't get it, and they don't have to because they're not the ones that need to pay the rent. You are. So don't let anybody and what they say about this or that deter you from doing what you need to do, because Chris is doing exactly what he needs to do. And he said it today. He's like, man, I'm in just a great place, and I'm lucky that that did happen a week or two ago, and that I do have one more check coming from them, and then the unemployment will come, and I'm not stressing. He's like, I am not stressing, and that's a beautiful thing. And there's something I really I wanted to kick off the podcast with this tonight, and it's something my sister sent me. She tagged me in it, I guess, on Facebook, but it's the paper, a newspaper, maybe Herald Palladium, down there, Southwest Michigan, but it says the headline is "Preparing for the Unknown. Whitmer bans dining out, extends jobless benefits." Kind of a big deal, lead story there. Right underneath it would be the second lead story, the co-lead story. Testicle Festival on hold.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's in Deerfield, so if you're planning on going to the old Testicle Festival, that's not going to take place. Not going to take place.
Well, they had to use something to get their people's attention.
I don't know.
Right.
Chris loves the title because he wrote on there, "Hold them gently, please."
Oh, jeez.
Testicle
He would say
Festival
something like
on
that.
hold.
Yeah, right?
Hold them gently. That was pretty funny. So, just wanted to pass that along. Oh, and then apparently, was it last week I was talking about Life Alert?
Yeah.
Every 10 minutes a life is saved or something.
Uh-huh.
Because of Life Alert, that's the I've fallen, I can't get up little thing that you get.
Yeah.
Which younger people might not even have a clue what that is, but I've fallen and I can't get up. This lady hits this little beeper thing on her necklace, and it causes